Never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would be actively rooting against Thatcher Demko of the Vancouver Canucks. Man, it feels like yesterday when we saw Bubble Demko make an appearance in the 2020 Stanley Cup Playoffs, posting up a .985 save percentage in 4 games, fully establishing himself as an NHL starter caliber player, and potentially the face of Vancouver goaltending to come. Unfortunately now, we're talking about the tanking wars between the Vancouver Canucks and that of the Calgary Flames. This comes to us from a post that was made on the R Canucks subreddit by Beneficial Meat, who posted this yesterday. It's a graphic of the Calgary Flames and their team: Jonathan Huberdeau, Backlund, Morgan Frost, Ryan Strome. And the title of the post says this: "Do you think we can actually out-tank this dog-ass roster?" And obviously that's kind of funny. Kind of mean, but at the same time it's like, the Calgary Flames have a pretty weak team, don't they? I mean, Kevin Ball is a top 2 defenseman. How about that, eh? Zach Whitecloud is here, so is Simon Nemec, Kuznetsov, Middleton, Zane Parekh. Maybe the decor is not the worst we've ever seen, but it certainly lacks some high-end star power. Maybe if Simon Nemec was able to pan out to what he could have become, and Zane Parekh takes the next step, this team could actually look pretty good. But up front, it's hard to fully believe Jonathan Huberdeau is the answer when he's one of the other 2 guys in the NHL that have totally declined and reduced their stock. I'm thinking Huberdeau and Pettersson. They're like 1-1, if not 1-2. Backlund as a first-line center, I mean, it's not ideal, but I get it. You kind of have to do it. And so this Our Canucks post asks, are the Vancouver Canucks bad enough that they could genuinely out-tank what the Flames are cooking? I'll answer this with my own perspective first before we read some of the comments. I do think that the Calgary Flames making some of the additions that they did this offseason indicates that they don't actually want to tank. The verb tank is implied to be a directed sort of a thought process. When you tank in the standings, it's because you usually wanted to do that. Like, okay, we're going to tank to the bottom. We want to lose. We want to be bad. The Calgary Flames made their big, we're actually trying to go for it now move by acquiring Simon Nemec in that trade for first-round picks and whatnot. They wouldn't have done this if they didn't at least think that they could be more competitive this upcoming campaign. It's unfortunate, but the Flames roster, while it is weak on paper, this is still better than what they had heading into the 2026 offseason. Top Reply goes out there and says, the Flames have such a solid goalie core that I think the Canucks can out-tank them. Demko is the only possibility to ruin it. It's such a weird feeling to want Demmer to be good, but also suck for tank purposes. Another reply says, I want Demko to be good so we can give him a cup run on another team. And that is where the unfortunate story of Thatcher Demko takes us in this conversation. The fact that this guy has the power to genuinely put up Vezina caliber goaltending. It's just he hasn't been able to do that consistently over the past 2 years or so. He's only played 23 and 20 games the past 2 seasons. He hasn't been available. He hasn't been an option. He hasn't been an $8.5 million caliber goalie. Now, when he is at his best, he absolutely is that and more. But if Thatcher Demko shows up and actually plays very well this upcoming season, that might actually be pretty detrimental to Vancouver's tanking efforts. Thatcher Demko is good enough to single-handedly win the Canucks a week, or 2 weeks, or 3 weeks worth of games in an 84-game NHL season. And that is going to be the biggest wild card here. Can Thatcher Demko be bad enough that the Vancouver Canucks still lose, but can he also be good enough that maybe he ups his trade value and allows him to get moved to an opportunity where he can actually compete? We've already seen Thatcher Demko and the comments that he has made. This guy loves Vancouver. He signed in Vancouver for a reason. He has himself some trade protection on the contract, a no move all 3 remaining years of this deal. So if he does get traded, it will be at his discretion, and it will be to a team that he chooses. It's just, we gotta ask, is Thatcher Demko gonna be good enough for a team to actually want? And there's that double-edged sword. Good enough to provide value, bad enough that the Vancouver Canucks don't start winning a bunch of games. Meanwhile, you talk about the Calgary Flames and their goaltending tandem. Dustin Wolf, I mean, he was amazing this previous campaign. .899 save percentage. Okay, that doesn't sound amazing, but it's like right underneath league average these days, especially when you consider the fact that the Calgary Flames were not good, period. Devin Cooley had a .909 save percentage in the 31-game sample that he had with Calgary this most recent campaign. That's a good, solid year for a guy that was playing on Calgary. Cooley also went over to Team USA at the World Championships. He put up a .930 save percentage and a .176 goals against average in 6 games. Cooley is also a stud, and he could very well take over the top spot in net for the Calgary Flames if Dustin Wolf just isn't careful enough. He could lose that spot. I think it's possible. Meanwhile, for the Vancouver Canucks and Thatcher Demko, it's like, all right, well, Demko is really good when he is on, but he's just never really on anymore. And when you think about the guys that are going to be backing him up, like, okay, Nikita Tolopilo, he's fine. He's an option. He's a player that the Canucks can have, but is he ready to be a full-time NHL guy? You have Tolopilo, who is signed for 1 more year at $850,000, and then you also have Kevin Lankinen, who of course is like the main de facto backup, but he's making $4.5 million a year till the end of 2030. He also has a no-move clause. So Kevin Lankinen, I mean, look, I'm going to be honest, I'm not too optimistic that Kevin Lankinen is going to be Lank the Tank like we saw him earlier in his Vancouver Canucks career. I feel like Lankinen is just not number 1 starter material in the National Hockey League, because when you play him too many games in a row, that's when he starts to be a little bit vulnerable. He's fine as a backup, and even in 2024-2025, he had a .902 save percentage in 51 games. That's not bad, but when you give Lankinen extended time, when you don't allow him to rest, that's when he really falls apart. So, I don't know. It's really going to depend on Demko's health, whether or not he is actually as good as he could be. If he is, then great, trade him immediately. If he isn't, then okay, well, that doesn't really help the Canucks win games, doesn't it? And when it comes to the Calgary Flames, can the Canucks actually out-tank this roster? I think the goaltending is really going to be a big part of that conversation. Another reply says the Flames have the worst forward group in the league, maybe by a large margin. But the defense is okay, and could be good if even one young guy pops off. Their goaltending is excellent, definitely in the mix for last place. Now, for what it's worth, we can't talk all this talk about Calgary without taking a look at what their fans have to say. They posted this on the Calgary Flames subreddit too. Canucks fans are throwing shade at us. This isn't throwing shade. The Canucks fans are highly praising our team. They actually say nice things about our goalies. It's like the ugliest kid in school picking on the second ugliest kid in school. We both ugly, but at least we are on acne medication and started working out. The future looks bright. Yeah, okay. I'm thinking of the kid on the cover of Mad Magazine when I think of ugly kids at school. Either way, you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Can the Vancouver Canucks out-tank the Calgary Flames? Is it going to depend on Devin Cooley and Dustin Wolf to keep Calgary in a higher position in the standings than the Vancouver Canucks with Thatcher Demko and Kevin Lankinen? Where do you think the tank wars will go, and what are your thoughts on ugly kids picking on ugly kids in school? I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.